Alrighty, back at it again with the road to 1000 ELO. If you are new to this page, I do commentary on a lot of different things. So, they aborted the game. They were running scared. So we're going to try that again. Alright, we got Jose. Jose from Brazil. Let's see if he wants to play. Anyways, so road to 1000 ELO. Right now I'm at 591. And if you were a newbie, essentially what ELO means is it is just your rating. So you get a score out of, I think it goes up to 3,000. And it pretty much just tells you how good you are. So Jose is a 650. I'm a 591, which means he, as of right now, is better than me. So this would be a big win. I get a 12 bump in ELO. If I lose, I lose 9. Now we're going to get into the gameplay. So generally, you want to start with white. Actually, always you want to start with white. Starting out as white is better because you get the first move and you get a little bit of tempo. Now, if you're a little bit newer to chess, you like to take the center. So he has got his light squared bishop. Not really attacking anything. He can get that here for a check, but it's an easy block. So I'm going to develop. Can develop in here. Yeah, and if you're newer to chess, you usually, I would say, don't complicate it too much. I would focus on getting into some different mating opportunities. And if you've got your queen, probably want to use a queen in another piece. You know, you could mate somebody with just a queen, but probably going to want a queen in another piece. And then I would also, so I would focus most, at least this is what I do, is I would focus, so yeah, not much is happening there. You can't move that. That move's unproductive. I would focus mostly on, especially in the early game, as long as they don't have anything crazy in terms of them offensively threatening you. Right now, the only check he's got is here, and I've got a few different ways I can block. That takes, but he's not threatening anything, at least right now, that's easy to see. You know, maybe there's a 4D chess move that, they can do, but it's probably going to be too tough to calculate all that, especially as a beginner. Depends on how much clock you've got. I'm playing a 30-minute game, so you got a little bit more time to think. But I would try to develop your pawns far up the board, and then develop your knights. If you can get your knights onto the 5th, 6th, 7th rank, onto their half, especially if they're protected. So if I could get my knights somehow over here, could get taken, but I can trade. That is ideal. And yeah, so I'm going to offer up a trade here and see if he takes it to get my queen activated and to get him off that square. But yeah, that's probably pretty good if you're a newbie like me, just an average player. Probably want to try to get some development, and then once some pieces have been traded, then you can get, yeah, so he's offering a trade. And yeah, he's got two checks, not mates, but there and there. Same defense for both. You just push that pawn up. And okay, that's an interesting move. So he's looking to get into this area. And I'm going to castle, get a little bit of a defense in. Yeah, so far it's a pretty... So there can get taken. You can't go there. That move by the pawn is going to prevent him from going to either. He can't move his knight. He can move it backwards, but he can't move that knight forward, or it gets taken by the pawn or that pawn. And he doesn't have much mobility with this bishop. That gets taken, that gets taken, that, yeah. Really anywhere he moves that. So he's got a bit of a logjam here. So that move, right now what he's threatening is he's going to come here, take this, and then take that, because I won't have a way to move that. So we've got a few different options. And I think... So if I go here, he can take... I think the best way to... Yeah. Maybe he's got something planned here. Because he can... Yeah, he's got... yeah, so he can take... I take... And then, yeah. Probably should have done that in a different sequence. I probably should have moved the pawn up 1. Because he would not have been able to take with 2 different pieces. So that probably wasn't the best move. But... So far, it's still pretty even game. You know, if you cannot blunder a queen or a rook, or really any, you know, ideally you don't blunder anything, but so far it's looking okay. I'd say I've got a slight advantage, probably. I've got more time. I've got 2 more minutes than him. He's got 26. I've got 28. So that's always big in the even game. And another thing to consider... And maybe you don't want to play this style necessarily, but where he's ranked a 650, so ELO, the average ELO is 570. I'm slightly above average, and he's also slightly above average, but he's, you know, let's say I'm in the 56th percentile. I think that's roughly where I'm at for chess. So I'm better than 56% of people that play. He's probably better than 62%. So he's a decently better player than me, not to a crazy margin, but you see that draw +2. If you're playing someone and they're better than you, especially, you know, if they're 1 ELO better, so if he's... Okay, well, we gotta lock in here. So he castled long, which I castled short, which means I'm on the G, and he's on the C, so it's an interesting move. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to put pressure on that queen. I'm going to get here and force him to do something. Because what I really want to do is, even if this pawn gets taken, opening up this rook on this file is big. That is big. You got a pin here. Yeah, there's a lot of good action that can happen if you open up that. Especially with this queen having access here. This rook can come in. Yeah, so it probably wasn't the best move for him. But let's see if we've got any offense that we're not seeing here. This knight can't really do anything here. That gets taken. Can move here, but what's the next move? Nothing. That knight, this knight, you know, that's why you want to get the... Excuse me. That's why you want to get the knights up early. Neither one of us, we both have a knight that's undeveloped, and honestly, he's really got 2 that are undeveloped. And then his dark squared bishop is... Both of our dark squared bishops aren't really in the game either. Mine can't do anything offensively. His can't either. So it's a pretty defensive posture. Okay, so we've got a few different options here. We can take here. Okay, so if we take... we've also got that option. Or, another thing we can do is let him take either one of these. Actually... I think this is the best move. Moving the pawn up, forcing the queen to move, because they're not going to take a pawn. Yeah, I believe this is the best move, because he can't take. He can't. No, he can't go there because I take with the queen. Here is a fine move. Yeah, I think this is the best move because he can't. He's got to react to my pawn. He can't do any taking, at least yet, unless he's got something I can't foresee. But yeah, this would be a big win for me. Getting over 600 in gameplay, 600 elo. 60% of the way there to my 1,000 goal. Once you get to the thousands, then you're a legit player. You're a respected chess player. And yeah, he's brainstorming because he's got this move and this move. Those are the only two moves he's got for the queen. The only two. Actually, something he could do, and this, yeah, I was just getting ready to say that. That's a nice move. That's a nice move because I forced him to deal with the pawn. Now he's forcing me, and that would be a passed pawn too. So that's a dangerous position. All right, so if I take, he takes. Okay. So I'll be here. Yeah, I think mathematically, so he's gonna take. He's got to take my queen. I mean, he's got to take my queen, or he would have not done this move. But I think it makes more sense for me to get here. Yep. How does he stop the promotion? Because I go here, he can't. He's got to move his king up, I believe. And I'm not even really that worried about this pawn promoting because I've got actually, I've got this defense, I've got this defense, I've got this defense, I've got 4 different ways to defend. So I'm not really all that concerned, and I'm up 1 pawn of material, but essentially, yeah. Okay, so he moves up there, and okay, so if we go up here, he's got. Oh yeah, so I'm gonna take the knight. If he doesn't let me take the knight, if he moves out of the way, then I've got this pawn protected by the rook, and I'm gonna promote. And it's just I lose a pawn for a rook because I'll take. So that is the move. Yeah, so now he's got to lose this piece, I believe. Is that the best move? Yep. And honestly, he really screwed himself doing the forcing the queen trade because he's going to take. Oh, that's a good way to play it. That's actually a decent way to play it because now he. Actually, no, he still can't take it. It looked good on his face, but he still can't take it because of this. And, yeah. Yeah, right now we're up by 4. Okay. So he is... Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. Okay, so I still don't... He still can't take this. If he takes it with the rook, I just trade, and I'm up 4 points. And I'm fine with a draw. I mean, I'd like a win, but I'm fine with a draw because he's a better player. Okay, he's going to put some pressure there. It doesn't really matter to me. And I'd like to, if I can, I'm going to try to get this pawn out of the way. Just... 2 squares from promotion. Got a lot of defenses, but you don't like that him hanging out. Because right now, rooks can't do anything. Okay, and so he's looking to take here. You know what? He's going to be able to take it. Because I can't do anything. Even if I pin, he just takes with the rook. So I'm going to... I'm just... I really, we don't have any great... I don't know. We don't have a lot of great moves here, honestly, because it's tough to take this piece because you're going to get the rook off the last rank, and that can get messy, especially if you're castled and don't have an escape hatch. Oh, wow, that's surprising. He should have taken with the bishop. If he takes with the bishop, then the trade doesn't make... Yeah, that was an interesting move. And I don't think he thought that all the way through. Because I would have not taken the the piece. And this is really where you want the knight. Now, with his king being kind of on the side and not back in here, this would be a nasty move if he was castled with all the action, all the different webs we can get into here, here. But this right here, you get a free pawn and maybe a rook if he doesn't. And he has resigned. So, short game because he gave up, which I never recommend you do. Let's look at the game review. And I'm officially a 603. Wow. So this is pretty impressive for myself. I had a 93% accuracy. He had an 82, so very good game. I game rating of 1400. He had a game rating of 1300. Chess.com. Why? No, don't talk to me. Chess.com. Oh no, I don't want to review. They usually will kind of gas you up on the game ratings to make you buy something or whatever. So I'd probably drop it by a couple hundred points. Maybe this was an 1100 game for me, but my goal is to get to 1000. And yeah, so brilliant. Rarely get those. No great moves. I had 12 best. I had no mistakes, no misses, no blunders, 1 inaccurate. And let's actually check out my inaccurate. And let's find it because I didn't see it. And yeah, if you're playing chess.com, you get 1 free review per day, I believe. And you can kind of see who's winning, what's the best move, all that different stuff. So what is my... So that was his mistake. Yeah, I thought that was a little bit of a weird move when he did it. And we are still... Okay, so they say... Let's go back to this, because I remember I discussed, so they didn't like that move for him. They said that was a good move, and they liked me taking, and then they didn't like this move. What's the best move in that situation? Okay. Well, fair enough. I guess the chess computers, they're never wrong, so... But I ended up getting the win. And yeah, the road to 1000. Stay tuned. I am so far 2-0 in live gameplays with commentary. So maybe that is my strategy.